Welcome to another episode of the Brothers Who Talk.
Brothers Who Talk.
With Terry and AD. This podcast is about men talking about everyday shenanigans, the stuff that makes us mad, to the topics that concern why in the world do these guys have a podcast. Let's get to
Wednesday. Happy post-Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving?
Delicious, satisfying, and a lot of sleeping and napping.
Oh man, I'll tell you what I did. And I explained this on brunching Friday.
Right.
I made, and I sent you guys pictures of. I tried to make some baked macaroni and cheese. And it came out. I mean, according to the picture, it came out great. It looked good. It was cheesy.
Right.
On the top.
Okay.
And when I took it out of the oven and we got ready to eat it, we cut it like a pie, and it was really, really dry on the inside. Well, and see what I found out was that I didn't put no cheese sauce. I had too many noodles and not enough cheese sauce. Is what it was. It didn't pan out well. So to my family, I thoroughly apologize. But the peach cobbler that I made though was slamming. That's what size.
All right, on point.
So we're gonna get right into it, you guys. We got a packed show today. So we're gonna get into the news first. And the first article that we're gonna talk about, and I have three articles that we're gonna get into. And two of those are Chicago related. No. One is Chicago related. The other is just related. All right, so we're gonna get into it. Our very first one we're gonna get into. We're gonna talk about Billy D. Williams. Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and run this clip. You won't see this clip, but you'll be able to hear it. Okay.
All
and
right.
talk about it after it goes off. It's like 2 minutes. Okay, so hold tight.
May the force be with Billy D. Williams. The 82-year-old actor is being showered with love and support on Twitter after coming out as gender fluid. In a recent interview with Esquire, Billy opened up about staying true to himself, revealing, quote, "I think of myself as a relatively colorful character who doesn't take himself or herself too seriously."
It's so wonderful to know that people appreciate what goes on in our lives, I guess.
The actor goes on to tell the outlet, quote, "You see, I say himself and herself because I also see myself as feminine as well as masculine," adding, "I'm a very soft person. I'm not afraid to show that side of myself."
No, I know what she means. I'll take good care of her. She won't get a scratch.
Williams is set to reprise his role as Lando Calrissian in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
People keep asking me, how did I find Lando again? Well, Lando never left me.
And when he was told that Donald Glover, who also played Lando in Solo: A Star Wars Story, discussed gender fluidity and sexuality ahead of his debut in the franchise, Williams reportedly lit up, exclaiming, "Really? That kid is brilliant. Just look at those videos."
Donald's a really wonderful young man, very talented young man.
Here's what he recently told E.T. about returning to the role and the Skywalker series coming to an end.
I guess it's bittersweet. I don't know. It's a wonderful experience. I didn't expect it.
Do you believe that it's the last one? Because I don't know if I do.
Well, I have no idea, but it will probably go on for another 40 years.
So Billy D. being gender fluid.
Yes.
First of all, when I first read this or heard this,
Right.
it was supposedly fake news. Supposedly. And then
Right.
there was a YouTube link that took you to an interview that
Well, yeah.
this interview, the guy that was supposedly Billy D didn't sound nothing like him. He sounded robotic. It sounded fake. So it was a whole thing of it was supposed to be or was brought out to be satire, but it's actually truth. I mean, according to Entertainment Tonight, my man is gender fluid, so he say himself and herself in every other sentence. AD, please shed some light, can you?
So I was like, I heard the term, and I was like, let's look up the definition of gender fluid. So I just wanted to make sure that sometimes we thinking it's bad, and it's like, okay, that's not so bad, but oh yeah, it's bad. So because it's basically not recognizing gender, no gender, no genderless, gender free. To me, I think it's just and hear me out. I think it's just a pass to be gay without being gay. I think for men at least that's the man side. Like if a woman says it could be the same thing, but I think it's just a pass to be gay. Like who doesn't recognize gender? We are two different species. We are built, created. We are different. We are not the same. I don't care. I
just don't understand, and I totally agree with you. I think it's a pass to be gay. I mean, because once you play this back and we do the edit, and you'll see that everything he's in an ascot. You remember Fred from Scooby-Doo, right? He used to wear the ascot. He had a shirt with the little knot. Right. Come on, bro. And so everything he has that little ascot. But here's what's confusing. Billy D. Williams was like the sexiest dude on the planet for years.
He was pre-Denzel. He was Denzel before Denzel came on the scene.
That's it. He was Denzel before Denzel was Denzel. I mean, right. he did those Colt 45 commercials.
Well, right.
Oh, don't let the smooth taste fool you. The whole D voice, and it's like now your gender. Hey, I'm confused. Like, how did we get here? How did we get gender fluid? You know what? I wish that it was like it was back in the day when I was coming up. Boys were boys, girls were girls. Didn't have all this confusion and this trends. I mean, nothing. I'm not knocking. So anybody who's listening to this and watching this on YouTube, if your gender, whatever, I have no qualm, and I'm not. Don't stop watching. Subscribe anyways. But it's just. I don't understand it. When I was coming up, I'm a man of a certain age. When I was young, we didn't do that. It was boys, girls. It was Boy Scouts. It was Girl Scouts. You didn't have Girl Scouts trying to get into Boy Scouts because it was offensive. They didn't. I mean, and vice versa. You didn't have girls playing football, even though we had one instance of a girl. Her name was Summer Taylor. She rest in peace, Summer. She was awesome. She tried to play football. She got cut, of course, because it's sport, and. I think that was the only instance I can recall of this whole gender backwards. That's really, really crazy to me. So yeah, Billy D, man, I don't know. I'm confused with it. And then he pulled Danny Glover into it, and he was talking about he's sensitive to it. Come on, man, it's boys and girls, baby. Boys and girls. Let's not be. Don't make no mistake. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just me. I'm sorry.
The crazy part, real quick, I won't dwell on it too long, is the fact that it'll soon be offensive to call somebody a boy or call somebody a girl.
Yeah, that's the
scary part.
It's already now. People are upset now. They're like, they're saying that when babies come out, they shouldn't feel, when they feel that the birth certificate or whatever, they don't have to put male or female.
Oh, I'm putting it.
I don't understand what's going on. It's really, really crazy to me. And people are they're taking this way out of control here. It's just really crazy, man. I tell you. But speaking of out of control and being crazy, my man Eddie Johnson, the superintendent of Chicago police, got himself fired by Mayor Lightfoot because he was doing some stuff he ain't had no business doing. And I want to watch this video real quick. Like, again, AD, you won't hear it. I mean, you won't see it, but you will be able to hear it. So bear with me. Yeah. I'll pull that up. And here we go.
This morning, Chicago's top cop is out of a job, and questions are swirling about what led to Eddie Johnson's firing.
Eddie Johnson engaged in conduct that is not only unbecoming but demonstrated a series of ethical lapses and flawed decision-making that is inconsistent with having the privilege of leading the Chicago Police Department.
The stunning announcement from the city's mayor, Lori Lightfoot, came just weeks before Johnson was set to retire after more than 3 decades on the force. He'd taken over as police superintendent in 2016 in the wake of the controversial Laquan McDonald shooting.
It's Mr. Smollett who committed this hoax.
And he drew national attention for his department's handling of the Jussie Smollett case. Johnson had been under growing scrutiny since mid-October when he was found asleep in his car right after midnight. At the time, he blamed the incident on a problem with his medication.
It's painful to admit this, but when he adjusted my medication, I took the old medication out for high blood pressure, but I failed to put the new medication in.
But the next day, the mayor said his story had changed slightly.
He revealed to me that he'd had a couple of drinks with dinner.
On November 7th, Johnson announced he planned to retire.
This job has taken its toll. Taken a toll on my health, my family, my friends, but my integrity remains intact.
But less than a month later, he's been dismissed after the mayor reviewed the city's inspector general's report and video evidence related to the night he was found in his car.
Eddie Johnson intentionally lied to me several times, even when I challenged him about the narrative that he shared with me. He maintained that he was telling the truth. I now know definitively that he was not.
Mayor Lightfoot would not specify what those alleged lies were, saying revealing them would not be fair to Johnson's wife and children.
NBC News has reached out repeatedly to Eddie Johnson, but we have not heard back. He also declined to comment to media in Chicago. The mayor hinted that the Inspector General's report may one day become public, but until then, we might not know what led to his firing.
Although the mayor seemed to drop a real big hint to the nature of the...
So, first off, the wife is pissed because she watched this news report.
Of course.
When is it going to affect us?
What you mean? What you mean?
That's what I know.
Come on, what are you doing? Okay, so he's talking about he had a mix-up in his medication. He took the wrong medication. First of all, bro, you are the superintendent of police. You mean to tell me you didn't pick up the right bottle? Look here. I firmly believe. Now, one of the instances was when he was sleeping when they said about him being in his car asleep. And he said that he had drinks with a lady other than his wife. See, that's an infidelity thing.
Right.
They didn't report that too tough, but that's just speculation. But it's a lot of things that are going on, and the Laquan McDonald case that looked bad upon him, and then he really had a disdain for Jussie. It's that. I mean, he really did not like it, so he was trying to charge Jussie. I mean, it's a whole slew of mess. But let's do this first before we get into that. Shout out to Chicago and in voting for their first openly gay mayor of Chicago. I think that Mayor Lightfoot is awesome. She ain't playing no games. She ain't pulling no punches. However, they're making a mistake. They made a mistake. They brung in, I can't think of the guy's name, but he used to be the head of LAPD, and they brung him in to replace Eddie Johnson.
Oh.
It could get real tricky in Chicago. So if you're watching this or listening to this and you are in the Chicago area when the new superintendent comes in, y'all better be careful because the new guy coming in, from what I read this morning, he is the king of stop and frisk. LA. So of course he's going to bring that to Chicago. So please understand that if you're listening and watching this, be very, very careful, because the Popo ain't playing, Mayor Lightfoot ain't playing, and Eddie Johnson, just crazy stuff. Like, what are you doing? What are you thinking about?
Right.
You having drinks with another woman? That's your business. But you're the superintendent of police. There's certain things you can't do.
Right.
You just can't do. So long, good farewell. You can put that in there in the edit. So long, Mr. Eddie Johnson, for that's enough. But one of the things that concern me is that he's been on the force for 30 years, AD.
Wow.
Now that he got fired, will he still get his pension?
Right.
That's the question. And so I hope it's because of the time served, but
so like, and this is only from watching police shows, so
yeah.
This is no depth of reality. I know, but you know, art imitates life a lot of times.
Of course.
But whenever someone is close to retirement, they usually bring them in the office and say, I have all this mess on you. You need to go ahead and retire, and let's just be done. Generally, isn't that usually what, like, you need to retire, get on out of here?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it must have been so deep. Like, you know, reporters get stuff, you know, based on TV, I'm sure they call and like, listen, we about to release some stuff on your boy. Yeah. Like any comment before we drop this bomb, you know, and there's probably so much stuff. It was like, I can't cover that up. Like, I can't cover it, and I got to do something about it because I'm a new mayor. I can't. I'm pretty sure it's like, yo, just let me retire. And she's like, I can't. You lied to me. She was mad. She was like, yo, he lied to me.
Them little bitty eyes gone, boy. You.
Right.
It's a thing.
Because, you know, I'm sure she tried to cover for him.
Yeah.
You know, that's the worst. When you cover for somebody, and you was like, did this just lie?
I'm sure. Yeah.
So she was done.
I'm sure she was. I'm sure she was done. Because you only can hold out a lie for so long. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I remember an episode of SVU, which is I'm a huge Law and Order fan, SVU fan, and so when Munch decided to leave, he retired. It was like, I'm gonna get my pension. Y'all ain't gonna get me. You know what I'm saying? And so he retired and got his pension, and he moved on. Now you got to wonder if you are an SVU fan and you remember when Stabler shot that kid on the episode in season 12, and he left the show the next season. He was gone. Did he get his pension? You think you want it? So Popo, listen, man, y'all dirty. Quit it. If y'all having drinks, you better have them. If you in Chicago, you better have them drinks in Schaumburg, buddy. Can't nobody catch you. Out in the bird. Right. And Melissa's over here laughing because she knows Schaumburg is like way out. It's like 2 hours outside of Chicago. So go out into Schaumburg, better yet, go to Crystal Lake and have all the drinks you want, but don't get caught. It's just really crazy stuff.
Not in city limits. Don't hang out in city limits. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness. Like, you know, listen, when it fizzles, it fizzles. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. But speaking of fizzling, our next news story. Okay, we're gonna talk about Kamala Harris. I always get her name wrong because I always say Kamala. I pronounce it crazy. Well, I'm from the country, so my tongue ain't right, so I have to kind of do it different. But Kamala Harris has dropped out of the 2020 race for president. There are a lot of people who are her fan base. They're very hurt by the fact that she dropped out. And so let me go ahead and run this one. I got videos for days on this one, so you'll see it on the edit. So thank you guys, hang with me. You right back.
The major news in the race for 2020, Senator Kamala Harris announcing she's dropping out. Once drawing huge crowds, one of the top candidates on the Democratic side. So what happened? What she said today in her very candid message to her supporters. ABC's Lindsay Davis on the campaign again tonight.
A campaign that started with so much promise brought to an abrupt end today, even before the first vote was cast.
I'm not a billionaire. I can't fund my own campaign.
Senator Kamala Harris, who sought to be the first black female president of the United States, calling the decision one of the hardest of her life.
I cannot tell you that I have a path forward if I don't believe I do.
She shot to the top tier early, famously taking on Biden for his previous position on mandated busing to integrate schools.
There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
But Harris started to plateau in the polls, often struggling to defend her record as a prosecutor.
When you had the power, why didn't you try to affect change then?
So there have been, I'm glad you asked me this question. I made a decision that if I was going to have the ability to reform the system, I would try to do it from the inside. Was I able to get enough done? Absolutely not.
Over the weekend, signs the campaign was unraveling. The New York Times obtaining a resignation letter from a Harris aide who said, "I no longer have confidence in our campaign or its leadership."
Picture.
For those at home keeping track of the numbers, the Democrats now 15 candidates. Only 7 had qualified for the next debate. Kamala Harris was one of them. That brings it down to 6 at this point. And you have learned from inside the campaign that they put their heads together. They really thought about this over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Senator Harris told her staff today that throughout the Thanksgiving holiday, she worked round the clock to try to figure out how they could make this work. But after doing a campaign audit, she said she simply did not have the money to move things forward, David.
All right, Lindsay Davis was covering the race for us. Lindsay, thank you.
Listen, man. You ain't got no money. All right, okay. First of all, I'm not buying that excuse that she ain't got no money, right? Because they have a lot of these people that run for president don't have money, but they raise these fundraisers to where they're selling plates for $40,000, or whatever. So you have the money. I think that she just took a hit in the polls. I think we talked about this for our patron folks that watched this before we came on. What do you think? I think she just ran out of steam. She couldn't fight.
I mean, her record as a prosecutor has hurt her a little bit. It's kind of hard to stand on that.
Enlighten me on that, because I don't know a lot about her prosecutor. No record or whatever. But I heard she jailed. What I heard was in the beginning of the debates and all that jazz that she imprisoned a lot of black men. Cali. So I don't. Outside of that, I have no idea what her.
But so I think with these guys, they have donors, and there's guys that always just have money, and it's just like their goal is to donate to candidates, and there's super PACs and stuff like that. But when they start, I'm sure they do research, they start digging into the nitty gritty, and they start weighing. And when the reporters start asking these questions, and you heard it kind of get like, I'm so glad you asked that question, because they got to think in their head, how can I come up with a good answer that's going to help me survive?
Yeah, she wasn't glad. She didn't look. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you got the face. I think she and it is funny. A lot of campaigns run like John McCain almost shut down because he was almost out of money. Like he was literally closing down. John McCain, when he was running, before he ran against President Obama, like he was just one of the candidates of many. He was running out of money, and when he said it, I guess someone, and he's been in the game for a long time, so I'm sure some old dollars came through like, yo, okay, we got you. I think you can beat him. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible like she's suspending and saying it, and she might drum up support, and she might be back. She might come back. It's just got to get over depending on how bad that her old prosecuting record is. We don't know, because it could be real bad. Of course, it's just not all going to come out until it's her and Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's like, for real? How I feel about black people? What about this that you did? What about this that you did? He starts smashing, on like, y'all think y'all feel like my apartments would treat bad to black people? This what she did. This was, like, if it's that bad, they might be like, yeah, she can't win against him. But like I said before, she just needs to say something crazy. You want to get back on top, you got to say something crazy.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
You got to get at Trump. He's like, yo, don't go after Biden. He's somebody, but you need to get after Trump, because Trump is so beautiful. You antagonize him, he'll antagonize you back. Your name will always be on Twitter. That's all you need.
I'm gonna be truthful, man. I mean, watching the inquiries going on in Congress right now, if things happen the way they look like they're happening, it might not be Trump she's running against. I think it'll probably be Pence. I think, and he just is bad. And Joe Biden ain't looking too good these days either. He made a comment that was really stupid that I saw the other day, and this is kind of off the subject, but it's just, he said, somebody asked him a question about if it was his daughter, they got stopped by the police or something or another, and his response was, if you were my daughter, you wouldn't get stopped by the police. That was kind of his response to what, and I was like, my face was like, nigga, what? That's You know what I mean? You don't want to say that out loud. Nigga, what are you talking about?
Right. That's a conversation like me, you, and him are talking, and he's like, and we were sitting there like, you know what, Joe, you right, son. The daughter wouldn't stop. Once the window rolled down, they see who she was. It was like, stop speeding.
Yeah. But that's something you say, like you said, that's something that you would say, in the private street. But you're in front of thousands, and then whoever's watching on TV, you're in front of thousands, and you say that's stupid. Come on, it doesn't look good. So, if I had to pull the prediction, I know there's another guy that's still in it too. But if I had to pull a prediction, I would say it'd be Elizabeth Warren versus Trump, and if he doesn't get impeached in the election next year. Can she beat Trump?
Right.
She gangster enough. She's from the South Side. I mean, it might be something. She might like vote. We don't know. And it would be great to have our first lady president. Everybody hates on Hillary, so might as well.
She should have ran. That's what she should have ran.
Yeah.
That's what she should have ran.
Yeah.
And Hillary was running because everyone was pushing her to run. She should have ran, but they had this Hillary thing.
Yeah.
But if she would have came in, I think she would have beat Hillary and had a great opportunity to win the presidency.
Yeah. And people, what? I was watching the inquiry this morning for the impeachment, and the Republicans, were in the comment section deep. You heard me? And they kept saying, well, if anybody should go to jail, it should be the Obamas and the Clintons. Why are we still talking about the Obamas and the Clintons? So if you guys are on YouTube and you're watching, or even if you're listening, or anywhere else for that matter, somebody, please, anybody, explain to me why we still talking about locking up and jailing and putting in prison the Obamas and the Clintons. Why are we still on that?
Right.
We are so far beyond that. Let's talk about what is going on now. Let's talk about the articles of impeachment with the president. Let's talk about the fact that 9 professors of law have said that he's broke every impeachment article there is. Let's talk about that. If you have an issue with that, or if you want to talk about it, I'm up for a healthy debate. Right in this section, right down at on YouTube. Hey, and you can always send an email at brotherswhotalk@gmail.com, and we can talk about it. Because somebody tell me, why are we talking the Obamas and the Clintons? Seriously? Ben guys, emails? But this man is bribing folk, witness tampering.
Right.
But I also reading, and I'm going to shut up in a minute, but I was reading.
It's all good. We're on the rant. Go ahead.
This is what made me mad. We got that segment right into that. But it's
segment. Look how they just segment into that. What's making you mad, Terry? What's making you mad?
But I'm just saying, like, why are we still there? I mean, look, Obama didn't make all the right decisions. There were some things that he did I didn't agree with. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't not one member of his administration ever quit, ever went to prison, or any of that. But you have Mr. Trump, who he's changed speaker. He's changed what's called the spokesperson of the House. What, 3 times already?
Now the news.
Yeah. I don't know.
People
I don't know. But
got a high turnover.
You got 2 attorneys who's going to prison or whatever. How many attorneys going to prison? You paying off strippers. You calling the Ukrainian president and trying to get dirt on Biden or whoever you're running against. Then this is definitely why I tell them why you're mad segment right here. And then put that in the edit. There you go. And then and then you got what got me, AD, was when the ambassador to the Ukraine was on the stand a couple weeks ago. I think I told you about this. A couple weeks ago, she was on the stand. This dude is on a Twitter rant.
Right.
Why she's on the stand? Like, come on, that is witness tampering at its best. Somebody tried to add nerve to tell me we did it on brunching last week, and they said, well, by the letter of the law, that's not to witness tampering. If that's not witness tampering, I have no clue what that word means. Because this woman is on the stand, and the chairman was like, yeah, he's tweeting about you right now, and he was reading the tweet to it while she's on the stand. Like, come on, come on, Teflon Don.
Come on. Right.
One of the attorneys was saying this morning, he was like, the framers of the Constitution put certain things in place so the president of the United States doesn't feel like he's above the law, because there's no one above the law, including the president. And so this is the reason why there's these articles or these proceedings are going down. Now, it is yet to be seen whether or not he's going to get impeached. But all evidence points toward he may. AD, I'm going to shut up. I've been talking.
All right. So that's why you mad. That's why he mad.
I'm telling you, man. That thing, shut up.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down. I don't know.
Now
the news. Because it's the president and the House. I think it's still is it Republican now or is it the Senate? The House is still Republican. The Senate is Democrat. So it's got to get through the House, and it's like kind of like your homeboy. Like the police say, "Hey, you want to convict him?"
Yeah.
Like, he shot up some people, but it's all good. He's, because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
But I don't. He's not above the law. I don't understand. He's not above the law, but for some reason, and then these Republicans just feel like they can just spout whatever. Here's the thing that gets me. Another thing that makes me mad is that Republicans, and you have the right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. I have no problem with that, right? But don't insult me because I don't vote Republican. I've seen many Facebook arguments, Twitter arguments, whatever, and people, they're insulting each other because you don't vote Republican. You're insulting people because you don't vote Democrat. Come on, listen. Your affiliation politically is nobody's business. It's also not right for you to insult other people. We understand that Trump supporters are like Trump supporters. Here's my analogy: Trump supporters are like Dallas Cowboy fans. You can't tell them nothing. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys, they won championships since '86, but you can't tell them nothing now. You know what I'm saying? McCoy, who's a big Cowboy fan and Brothers of Legacy. Love your brother.
Shout out.
But I'm just saying. And some of you, and you just can't tell them anything. You can't tell them nothing. And so he can tell the truth,
right?
Give them the facts, put them on a silver platter, and they still won't. They still won't listen to it. But what about Obama?
So
what?
All right.
We'll make sure.
At AD. Okay. Let me 10 seconds. So a friend of mine was talking to me, and he's in finance. He's black, and he was saying, and we didn't talk about voting or politics or whatever. He was like, I was talking about investing and things like that, and he was like, right now, starting an investment fund, like open up a brokerage house and stuff like that, it's easier. He said because the regulations are lax.
Right.
He said, but when the Democrats get into office, it gets harder to do. Now, he didn't say who he's voting for, but it's things like that if this is my life, it's like, yeah, I know, but I can make more money with a man in office. So it's things like that. So I'm gonna tell you why mine isn't as deep, but all my people from Georgia can probably feel it. Probably some of the southern folks can feel it as well. Going into a sandwich shop, right? Trying to get a bacon, egg, and cheese, right? Why is it like $5? Why is it $5? $5. And all my New Yorkers are like, what? Yes, $2.50 in New York. $2.50 with coffee in New York. Why is it $5 down here just for a sandwich? I don't understand. I don't know. It's petty, it's small, but I was like,
it's the price of bacon. It's the price of bacon. That's the reason why. It's high in the South. That's the reason why. That's the reason why they want to charge you arm and a leg for that bacon, baby. You gonna pay for that.
They just slaughtered the bacon outside. I'm just saying they ain't shipping nowhere. They cut it up. It's right there. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
It could be that, or it could be the fact that maybe New York has a surplus of bacon, and that's the reason why they can charge $2.50 for the sandwiches. Where in the South, bacon may be something that is not, feasible.
Bacon in the South, feasible. I've seen hogs shot in people's backyards, so it's feasible.
But see, okay. It could be let me help you. It could be a thing where they kill them in their backyard, but that stuff don't go to the folks in Georgia. Take for example, I live in Idaho, right?
All right.
Idaho is home. Everybody knows Idaho for potatoes, right? But what you don't know is that the potatoes that are made here don't go here. They go everywhere else. They don't go. So we don't get an Idaho potato. We get a Wisconsin potato. What do you think?
We was on a real phone call right now. I'd hit the click button, the red button. I hung up on you already.
We don't get the potato. Like we're big. Like Idaho is big for potatoes, alfalfa, and wheat. I think it is. But the potatoes that grow here are shipped everywhere else. We get California potatoes. If you go to any restaurant and ask for Idaho potato, you won't get it. You'll get a potato from California. It's crazy, but it happens. So that's what happens with the pigs in Georgia. They get shot. They get sliced up. I promise you, they get sliced up and they're sent to.
It's sent everywhere.
Mississippi. I'm just telling you the truth, bro. I'm just telling you the truth. Don't miss out. Straight. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm kidding. But potatoes.
And listen, it's not even in like a ritzy area. Like, you know, when you go someplace that's real nice, like an area, you're like, oh, I'm going to this restaurant that has this beautiful sign. I'm gonna pay a lot for a glass of water. You know, like you already know. Yeah. But it's not. It's like in the hood.
It's water.
And I'm like, it's the hood. It should not be $5.
It should not be.
That's why nobody's in here, because this sandwich is $5.
AD, quit it, man. We know that you know you a little bit on the frugal side, bro. So anything probably over.
I am very much.
275 probably gonna be too much.
When I'm a millionaire, you're like, how I save every penny, and I got it to save, and I dive and I swim through it every morning.
That's for real though. All right, so we're gonna skip. So we're gonna get into the meat of we're gonna get into the topic today, because we want you guys to understand that when you watch the Brothers of Legacy, even the Brothers Who Talk, that's the sister program, Brothers of Legacy. But when you watch the Brothers Who Talk, we want you guys to understand that we are the gurus of relationships. We have been through enough crap in our life to be able to try to help the people, especially men, because we're the ones with the biggest problems, I think. But we want you to, this is your go-to place for all things relationships. If you have anything going on in a relationship you have a question about, if you can't figure out why he acting this way, why he changed up on you, why she changed up on you, if you ever have any questions about that, please do not hesitate to email us, comment down below, subscribe. We will answer those questions and we will give you the common sense answer, because I am the common sense guru and he is and AD is the pushing the grower, the motivator. So we're gonna go ahead and give you what's on. So AD, what is
yes, sir. Today we're talking about how to be the man your woman desires. How to be the man your woman desires.
Good question.
All right. So you want to kick that off, Terry?
Yeah. Let me tell you what we should do. Because we as men have big responsibilities anyway, right? We got big shoes to fill anyhow.
Yes.
So it's important, especially when we're either married or have a significant other. It's very important that men are complete and men are whole. Here's the problem that a lot of people had. This is the problem that I had, was that we're trying to finish a puzzle without all the pieces. So, and what I mean by that is we're not completely whole. That's like for me, when I was 16. This is Head Chronicles, my story. I didn't know. My mother came to me at 16 and told me that my dad that raised me all those years wasn't my dad, and how that took me all the way out, and it put a hole in my emotional self, right? So for years I went through life with that hole, and then I felt like my mom had lied to me. I feel like I had a whole bunch of things happening, and then I got a baby mama at 16. I'm a father at 16 years old. Right after, I think Nika, my oldest girl, was born, I think maybe 6 or 7, 8 months after my mom told me of that. So I had a lot of things that mad at people, and I walked through that for years and years and years, and everything that happened in my first marriage. Long story short, you listen to the Knucklehead Chronicles, so go subscribe to that. bit.ly/TCSTV 2019. Go ahead and go to that.
Yes.
And then listen to it on Spreaker. But anyhow, I went through a whole bunch of stuff, and so for at least 10 years, I had so much stuff that was compounded. Bad marriage, cheating wives, cheating Terry. I'm not freaking this. And just a mess. And so when God finally gave me something that was worth having, I know how to deal with it. So there are so many men that are incomplete. So the first that we need to do, men, is to be complete, totally healed from all this other good stuff, because you're not serving anyone any good by being depleted in a lot of areas. And with today's women, you can't be depleted, brother. You're gonna be filled to the brim.
Right.
But you know, go ahead, AD. I'm gonna jump on that next point in a minute. Go ahead. So much parts.
So, and most of the time, for the most part, the messages that we're talking about are for men that are currently in relationships. Of course, you can take these nuggets and use them if you're single, and you should, because then it'll help you tremendously. So the first thing, like Terry, piggybacking on what Terry said, being whole, and being whole takes recognizing your faults, right, and being vulnerable and transparent with not only yourself but your significant other. So the first thing, it starts with a conversation, right? If there's a level of brokenness in your relationship and you feel like things are not meeting, it starts with a conversation. Being honest and open and asking your lady, what is it that you want? You know, what is it that you like? Or what is it that I'm missing? Or what is it that I'm not doing that can help our relationship? So that's the first thing. And then, but the key is, though, you have to listen. You have to be willing to listen. I would even go as far, if you know sometimes you hear stuff and it don't sink in and you kind of like get defensive or whatever, I'd write it down. Write it down.
Right.
You know, and you might be like, what you doing? And I'm like, I'm writing it down. So when I'm not in my emotions, I can read it later.
Right.
And gain more understanding. And while she's talking, do not get in defensive mode. Get out of defensive mode.
Right.
You gotta let your guard down and don't. And you know, they call it active listening. You don't sit there waiting to respond. Like, okay, boom, I know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this right back to her.
Right.
No, that's not the point. The point is you just to hear it out and just receive it. Put your hands up, receive it, and just I understand. Okay, I do understand, and I'll work on whatever it may be. You know, and write it down. Yeah. You know, and even let's keep it real. She might even press. You know, like, how you feel about that shit? And he's like, I hear what you're saying. I just need to kind of think about how to respond, you know, because I'm feeling defensive,
right?
You know, and I'm trying to grow. So it disarms her so this doesn't turn into a fight.
Right.
Because I'm sure, you know, some men are thinking right now, or even ladies, like, we tried to have this conversation before, but it's all about your intention. You're asking because you want to grow. That's and once you figure out what you want and what she wants, you know, figure out what you want, and even come back like, hey, can I tell you some of the things that I would like, you know, depending on where your relationship's at, because it might be so fragile, you know, you as a man might have damaged some things. What you want may not matter right now. She wants to know, but just not right now. Right now might be like, I don't care about what you want because I'm mad at such, you know. So let's figure out what she wants, because what you want does matter. And what I've noticed, and then I'm gonna hand it back off to Terry, is a lot of men, and Terry probably seen it going in our households, You got the man in the house kind of sitting in the corner in his chair because nobody understands what that man wants.
Right.
You know, no one's ever really asked him. You got a house full of women or a house full of people, and, you know, he's holding down. You know, if something happened, he stands up, things will change, you know, but he's just like a provider. All he do is he bring in the money, he cut the lawn, he may cook, he clean, but nobody knows what this man really wants. Right. You know, what is his desire? And because if he taps into his desire, it can change the whole atmosphere of the household, make things even better. Right. So that's for any ladies, listen, ask your man what he wants. Like, because sometimes he might be stepping out, always doing stupid things online, chat with women, even nothing happening. But of course, it's disrespecting you because you just don't know what he wants. Like, what do you want? What would you like our relationship to be?
Yeah.
You know, and he, you know, you may be the dude, he may like, hold on, I got a book. I've been writing some stuff down. You ready? You know, and like I told you for guys, you gotta put your defenses down and listen. Don't come up with reason. Well, I didn't do that because it did. I didn't do that because it did. You know, put your defenses down and listen. And maybe things you've done, and you might be like, I didn't realize you liked that because you never respond. But now that I know, I'm gonna give you more of that. You know, so you have to have those conversations. All right, Terry.
So, I mean, so we've given you a couple of steps. I'm gonna run them down thus far. Okay. So I started out with, you know, being whole. That's number one. Okay. Be healed from the past. That's number one. Two, communicate with your lady. It's very important that you open up your mouth and say what it is you need or want. Okay. And that's on both sides of the spectrum, men and women. That's two. Open up your mouth, communicate. Three. What did you just say? Man, memory is shot. I just said it. So be healed, communicate.
Communicate. Figure out what you want.
Figure out what you want, and I'm gonna give you 4 and 5. Okay, and we're gonna set it down. 4 and 5. 4, fellas, ladies, be honest. In your communication, be honest, because it is hard to build on anything if it's a lie attached to it. It's just hard to do that, right? And 5, and the 5th one, last one, is stop playing games. Stop. We're gonna get to that in a minute, but first, be honest. Okay. Let me give you a little story from the Common Sense, the Knucklehead Chronicles. When I was married to my second wife, I was cheating on her with a woman that we ran in the same circles with, right? And so we slept together for a year. She never knew. I went to my pastor and said, I've been doing this I confessed to my pastor that I was cheating on my wife for this long. And he said to me, Pastor Joseph Graham, shout out to him up in Jersey. And he said to me, you can't fix anything built on a lie. You're going to have to tell her. And so I didn't want to tell my then wife that I was cheating on her with someone that we ran in the same circles with, because I knew that she was going to leave me. And he said, and he kept echoing that thing to me. He said, you can't build anything on that lie. You are going to have to tell her. You can like not tell her and try to build something new, but it's gonna come crashing and crumbling down because you haven't been honest. You have to be honest with yourself, and be honest with her. And he said to me, he said, look, you're at a place to where it's going to take an absolute miracle of God for you guys to stay together right now, because you have broken this trust. See, that's that cold water that we don't want to get as men. Right. But to be honest is the key to all of this. And we can fake the funk. We can try to cover that lie up. Oh, girl. We've done all that. I've done all of that, right? But when I walked, I'll never forget the day that I was finally honest with my second wife. I'm gonna break it down for you. I'll give you a little bit of backdrop. I was laying in the bed. My phone rings. Well, at the time, cell phones were kind of obsolete. We had a little flip phone that we shared together. The phone rings, and it was the chick. And once my wife picked up, she hung up the phone real quick. So then she texts me. She takes the phone, you know. And my wife says, she wakes me up out of my sleep, and she says, "Have you been cheating on me?" And in that moment, I said, I'm going to sink a swim right here. And I told her the truth. I said, yes. She said, "Have you been sleeping with so-and-so?" I'm not going to call her name. But have you been sleeping with so-and-so? Yeah. When I tell you, when that yes came out real slow, it was like, yeah, you know. But for the first time in the 9 years that we have been together, was the first time I ever told her the truth, ever. So it's important, ladies and gentlemen, be honest. Save yourself the trouble. Don't go through the nonsense. The heartache is worse. The heartache is worse when you've lied for so long. When you come into that revelation of truth, what I tell you, that brick wall hurts. It's like running into a brick wall. That's what it feels like. And she says, and when she told me that she was okay, she was like, "Okay, I'm out." When I tell you the level of hurt, that started a downward spiral for me. But I had to be honest. I had to be honest. So I'm telling you, fellas, be honest. Secondly, or fifthly, stop playing games. Stop it, fellas. And I know AD gonna jump on this one in a minute. Stop playing games. These women of today don't have time. They don't have time because they'll do two things. They'll either go get another chick or they're gonna do it themselves. They don't need you. Understand this, fellas. They don't need you to play games with them. We as men, especially if we have children, we have to set a better example for our children. We have boys. You know, you want your boys to follow in your footsteps, but you trash. Let that sink, my YouTube viewers. Let that sink for me.
Let marinate on you. Let that marinate.
Let that sizzle in your spirit real quick. You want your son to follow in your footsteps, but you trash. I know. It's tight, but it's right. What they say, 80? It's tight, but it's right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, just, and that goes back just to the honesty, like telling a woman what you want. Because a lot of times, I think men sometimes cheat because sometimes they might not be getting what they want, but they're not getting what they want because they never asked for it from their lady. Wherever the parts they're lacking, they don't ask for it. I'm talking about even sexually, like whatever it is that you would like, like I said, don't mean she's going to, but she at least knows this is what you desire.
Right.
Because you're going out, stepping out because you're not getting it at home.
Right.
And now you argue, you want to throw it in her face. She could be like, "I never knew."
Yeah.
And now you definitely ain't getting it because I'm out. I'm bad. Like, this is not how you do it. You asked me.
That's next week.
Right.
Why being cheap?
Oh. And right. Why being cheap? Oh gosh.
We got to
because it's not always right. Yeah, we can talk about it because it's never a definitive, but there's always a common thread and a common reason why a lot of men cheat. Especially and then sometimes there's serial cheaters. So there's those that run into situations that end up cheating. But the key is having communication, telling her what you want, knowing what she wants, being intentional with your time, being intentional with your money. That time, being intentional with your time with your mate, is key. And women love that. They want time.
Yeah.
They want you to work. They want you to hustle. They want you to do your thing, but they want their time as well.
Right.
It's like, I want you at work all the time to make that money, but I need you at home all the time because I want you here next to me. So you have to find that balance to be. You have to be intentional with your time because they want to be around you.
Yeah.
You know, they got you because they like being around you. So be intentional, have fun, you know, watch movies, play games. But if you're watching a movie, make sure you're interacting with your mate, not just staring at the TV or the movie screen, you know, kind of like hold hands and, you know, all that gushy, lovely stuff. Like I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know, maybe it's the older I get, I love it. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
But enjoy. That's why you got together. That's why you married this person or you're dating, you know, that maybe your fiance. This is the reason, because you love spending time with them. So act like it, you know, enjoy that time and hang around people that like being around their women.
Exactly.
Hang around people that like being around their women, not always complaining about them, because guess what? They're complaining and then you're going to find complaints as well.
Right.
Just because you're fitting in. You know what I'm saying? You just, and it'll bring your relationship down with theirs. But if all you guys are like, oh man, my lady is cool like this, or boom, boom, I'm trying to pick something out nice for her, and you have those kind of conversations where everybody's holding everybody accountable, nobody's like checking out other chicks and stuff like that, and we are bonding as men to become better men in families and things, you know, it's like, man, I tried this with my kid, I'm struggling with this, you know, and you're talking about issues that build up and not tear down. Right. That's the key. You need to get around other men, you gotta get around other couples. I've had to learn this the second time around. Don't know my story. If you don't know my story, I was married, then divorced, and now we're remarried. The same woman. Because I got it wrong the first time, but I'm getting it right this time.
There you go.
So, and one of the key things was just starting to get around couples that are like-minded. They like to be around each other. Yeah. You know, there's no dog there with me. So, and that's what I got.
I'm going to shut it down with this one. Fellas, women find the fact that you have a plan sexy as all get out. If you're watching this video or you're listening to this audio podcast right now, ask yourself, do you have a plan? Right. Because we were talking to our pastor the other day about it on Facebook Messenger. Have a plan. There's nothing sexier to a woman if you have a plan.
Right.
And you want, because there's two things that women need to be secure, and that is security and the fact that they know that you got a plan. It's easier for them to follow you, or it's easier for them to work with you if you have a plan. If you don't have, you just kind of scatterbrain doing whatever, you winging it. Women are like, no, go ahead and fall back right here. So fellas, if you don't have one, get a plan. It's kind of like Woody told the toys on Toy Story, the first one. He said, a moving buddy. If you ain't got one, get one. So fellas, tell you, if you don't have a plan, if you ain't got one, get one. And
get one.
These women can, deal with you. And you hear men talk about, well, I'm going to go to the other side because you don't have to have all that. Lies you tell.
Right.
I'm a brother. My wife is very Caucasian, and I have the same plan that I would have with a sister with her. So let's not pull that card, okay?
Right.
That doesn't work. But have a plan, fellas. Women, there's nothing sexier than a man that has a plan. All right. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Brothers Who Talk podcast, man. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, watching us on YouTube. Make sure that you thumb up and subscribe. Leave your comments in the sections below. If you want to join us on the screen, you can see our Patreon link. Just go right to patreon.com/the Brothers Who Talk. Go ahead and join us on Patreon for as low as $1, and you can get a little bit of the backdrop. Before we came on, we had a historical back and forth for about 10 minutes. So if you're a part of our Patreon community, you'll be able to listen to that because we kind of slow, but we love it. We love it. All right.
Yes.
So we're gonna get out of here. You guys have a great rest of the day. Oh, if you guys are on Periscope, follow the Brothers of Legacy. We go on every morning at 9 a.m. I think it is.
Yes. Eastern Standard Time.
Because I'm 2 hours behind you guys, so I'm always off. But now Standard Time, you can follow AD and you can follow myself on AD. AD, before we go, what's your closing again?
He said I'll close it out. So my closing, and we're gonna come up with our own closing for this show, but when I do a personal Periscope, it's always know that purpose is in you, greatness is before you, and destiny is waiting.
Yeah, waiting.
Yes, indeed.
And my closing is, as the common sense guru, is, look, forgive them, forgive yourself, move on. All right, so you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Brothers Who Talk. Brothers Who Talk with Terry and AD. Check us out again next week, where we bring you a steaming helping of common sense, laughs, and advice. We can be found on any podcasting platform, iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We're also on milehighradio.com, Saturdays at 12 Eastern. See you there.
I ain't that cute, but I can guarantee you I got a message behind here.